3 things a chess grandmaster taught me about investing and making money. Number 1, in chess, one wrong move can cost you the game. And in life, one stupid emotion move can ruin yourself as well. In my 7 years in business, I saw people becoming complete shadows of themselves after picking the wrong partner, and they never came back. A woman's loyalty is shown when the man has nothing, and the man's loyalty is shown when the man has everything. In my 7 years of business, I found out that it's completely possible to have a girlfriend while building a business, especially as a very young man. The direct opposite actually is what I see many times when males become business owners or they start to, get into their 20s, especially in these times. Obviously, they want to experience, they want to, try different girlfriends, they want to be in the love game, they want to be in the dating game, they want to go to parties, get wasted and pull girls and whatever and date girls and make the experiences, which I completely understand. But for me, it was the direct opposite. I found a lot of comfort in having a very good girlfriend from the beginning of my business that comforts me, helps me, supports me, and to be very honest, also helps me to be focused. Because as a man, if you are, let's say, you cannot focus at the end of the day because you always have the need of, pulling a girl in general or like having different dates, all of these things, you kind of get completely displaced because at the end of the day, what you want to do, especially in a young age, is funnel all your focus into one direction. And you cannot really funnel your focus into one direction if you are constantly on dating apps, if you're constantly playing the dating game, because obviously girls and love in general takes a lot of time, takes a lot of focus and effort away from you. So I can definitely say that actually the direct opposite is true, that with a girlfriend, it's even better to build a business, especially as a young male, because you will be more focused, you will have more support. But there is a very important thing when it comes to that at the end of the day supports these thesis, and that is that the girl that you have or the man that you have for the opposite is that this person your partner needs to be supportive. They need to understand that your business is goal number 1. So here's something that I did when I started my business 7 years ago when I was 21 years old, and I actually just got together with my girlfriend Anita. Very first thing when I started to get serious about business, what I did is I sat her down, I talked to her, and I made her understand that for me, the most important thing, even before her and before my family, for the next years will be my business. Because I see and I imagine ourselves living in Dubai, for example, where I live now, where I just moved to 3 years ago. I saw myself being financially able to take care of my parents, of her, giving her the option of working a job or not working a job. Same for my mother. And these were the visions that I had as a young man growing up, envisioning my success in the business. And I needed her to understand that I cannot be focused as much as other men could be focused on her, because they don't have nothing going for them, because they don't have to build a business, because they don't have to hustle, right? And I started to hustle when I was broke, busted, and disgusted. So I had nothing and there was nothing to go back to. So I really needed to make this work. So the very first important thing when you have a partner and you're starting to focus on business is that you need to tell them and make them understand that this is your priority for the next couple of years, and they need to accept that. If not, you cannot keep them in your life. She has shown me her loyalty when I didn't have anything and I had to focus on the business. And now I show my loyalty to her, that she, at the end of the day, can live her life freely, or not to go to a job every day and hustle, but she can stay at home, be creative, be feminine, and do whatever she wants. So the very first thing when it comes to business and investing in general that kicks in when people deal with business and investing is greed. Greed means they want more. So once they have an open position, once they invested into something, once they start to see a little bit of money, the first question that they have, for example, is, should I take profit as soon as possible? So for example, in trading or investing, not let the open position run. So greed kicks in, they close the position even though the position could have made way more money. That's because there was no plan behind it. Emotional moves, or in general, emotional decisions come from not planning, right? Reaction or reacting to it in the first couple of seconds, making an emotional move, because emotion is a move. It comes from the inside and wants to move out, wants to make you move. And we as humans think, and we have the feeling and the gut feeling maybe sometimes that if we do something against it, maybe say something stupid or make an emotional move in general, say something stupid or go against something or say something in a wrong occasion, or even do some moves that are stupid in general because we feel like doing it, right? No one has ever built a business on feelings. People build businesses on rational plans, on strategies, right? On execution. And again, what I've found for myself in the last 7 years building businesses and trading every day day in the markets with a lot of money and investing is that sometimes you just let things happen. You don't react to them in the first couple of seconds or days or hours, right? So you let it pass a little bit. But then sometimes there are things you need to react right away. These are things that, for example, could jeopardize your business or basically run you out of business or whatsoever. So you have to decide in between when to decide very fast. But when you decide fast, decide on a rational plan. So come up with a rational plan first, right? Instead of emotionally reacting right away to it. So analyze and ask yourself the question, can I let this pass a little bit? Can I let this pass for a couple of hours or even days and then take a decision? Or do I need to take a decision right away? If I need to take a decision right away, then take the decision up on a strategy. You can come up with strategies in a couple of minutes, asking yourself the question, what is the problem? Number one. How can I solve the problem? Number two, if the problem is not solved, can I live with the problem? So how bad is it really? Because most people don't even go deeper than asking themselves the question of what is really the problem and how can I solve it? And that is already half of the rent. If you know what the problem is, where it comes from, and how you can rationalize it, how you can get rid of it, but also understanding that sometimes we need to accept bad periods, bad times, or F-ups. That's completely normal. Business is F-ups all the time, and you need to navigate through them. So most of the times, I've found for myself that not reacting prevents us from taking stupid emotional moves, being more in the bird eye view from the top and really seeing and looking down on everything and really evaluating everything and reflecting on the current situation. Again, asking myself the question, what is the problem? How can I solve it? If I cannot solve it, can I live with it, right? These are the most important escalation ladder that I take when there's a problem that comes into my life. And at the end of the day, if you have to react very fast, then react very fast with, at the end of the day, a small game plan at least, and ask people for help. I've seen so many people just basically crash their complete business or their relationships or whatever in life because they took a stupid emotional decision and they could have asked someone that already has been in the situation. I, for example, have been in many emotional, very difficult situations, right? From not having money to having a lot of money, to having financial crisis, to losing everything, to gaining everything, to coming from nothing, to be on the top, to have a lot of people clap for you and be there for you, people that stabbed you in the back, people that snitched on you, people, everything. I've seen everything. Another advice that I can give you is have a balance in life. Go to the gym, go things where you can leave out your aggression, right? Gym, for example, doing sport helps me a lot to have a clear mind. Going for a walk, going for a run, spending time, quality time with family, doing some hobbies, some things that you love. For example, gaming or driving a car or racing a car or going to the gym or going for a walk, taking your girl out to dinner, or just in general something that calms you down, because someone that is calm and someone that is happy will take calm and happy decisions, right? So it's very important that you especially look out for your health, a balance in life, and have something where you can let out all of your energy, because too much energy at the end of the day leads to strong, stupid emotional moves. Now, personal development is the key in my perspective to becoming very rational, right? I coach over 45, 6 and 7 figure females especially. And there's one thing about females that you need to understand in business is that they make sometimes very emotional moves. They are way stronger in emotional moves and they make sometimes even more stupid emotional moves than, for example, compared to men. And that's something that I've learned with women. Women have a lot of skills in business, way more than men. Their communication is better. Their leading sometimes is better. But they struggle with emotional moves or emotional strong outbreaks, right? So I teach, especially the women that I mentor, that they should do a lot of personal development, because personal development really helps you to understand yourself, to control yourself. And there's one rule in my life when it comes to fights. If there's a fight that breaks out, if there's any mess, if someone wants to stab my back or someone wants to pick a fight with me, most of the times I take a couple of hours, days, or even weeks to not do anything, just see how everything goes, just from the bird eye view, ask myself the question, what can I do? Does it help if I emotionally react now? Does it help if I attack, or does it help if I go into defense mode, right? Sometimes in life, when there's things that happen in business where you have to react very fast, yes, obviously you should be in aggressive mode, but aggressive mode comes from you being very experienced in business and knowing exactly what happens if you do step A or step B, and then you can go aggressive. So aggressive comes from mentorship, asking people about their opinion, asking, for example, me, someone that has already built a business in 7 years, went through a lot of emotional struggles, for advice, right? There's so much we can learn from other people, and that is why I think people make very bad decisions in business and in investing. Now look, everyone will take emotional decisions and everyone will fail, especially in business and investing. Who fails the most wins, right? That's very important to understand. Failure is learning. I have done myself a couple of emotional moves in the past that I really learned from. And one of the emotional moves that I had to learn, and for everyone is different, is that I need to look out for myself a little bit more sometimes than for other people. In general, I'm someone that loves to help other people, support other people. I'm someone that approaches people in a very kind and respectful manner. I like to treat people, right? I'm happy when people around me are happy, right? Especially if they are grateful and respectful. If they're not grateful and respectful, then they are very easily kicked out of my life. But people that I love, that are respectful, that are kind, these are people that I love to treat. And sometimes in the past, I took the emotional decision to help them more because they were in need, or help them up to the point where I nearly lost myself, in the sense that I was giving too much of my energy. I was giving too much of my attention. I was giving too much of my love. I was giving especially too much of my resources and money. So I was short in money. And one of the most important things in business, and especially in investing and trading, is liquidity, right? The liquidity that you have to make new investments, to pivot very fast, to dodge crisis or dodge aggressions from, let's say, people that want to take your business, or competitors. Liquidity is the bullets for a police person. If you're out of bullets, you cannot defend yourself, right? So sometimes you should not shoot all your shots just to defend other people, so there's no bullet left for yourself. And I've done that over and over. So I needed to control myself and understand that I have a very good heart, and I'm a very good-hearted person, and I love to help people, but there needs to be a point where I cut it off, where I can't just continue, because if not, I jeopardize and I put my own position, my own financial position, my own liquidity, my own energy, my own health, right, into a very dangerous zone where if I lose, all the other people lose, right? I've learned this principle, especially being a leader of a community with more than 6,000 people, where I lead more than 45, 6 and 7 figure earners, male and female. And I've given so much because it's my community, it's my business, it's my baby. I love it, and I will always give a lot. But there's a point where I need to cut off and stop, because yes, I took a lot of emotional moves. And yes, one of these emotional moves sometimes can be very difficult. I took emotional moves that nearly put me in a very bad situation, but I've learned out of it. And now I even better know where the lines are and when to stop giving, when I need to focus on myself, and when I'm in my energy, where I have enough resources to give. And resources, I don't mean only money. Again, I mean energy. I mean love in general. We are all humans. Even if you are someone that can give a lot of energy, someone that can spark a room, right? Sometimes your flame is very low, and then you should not give, because it could cost you a lot, right? There's one thing that I've once told on a YouTube video a couple of months ago, is where last year, 2023, I had my most successful year, right? It's the year I made my very first million in commissions, my year that I made a lot of money in trading and investing, my year I just in general made the most money, I made the biggest purchases, I made very good trades. But that was also the year where I was traveling over 16 countries. I had over 40 flights, pushing my community, visiting them, up to where I had a throat infection from Cape Town, South Africa, when I came back, and I wanted to really travel to Germany to see my family, because it was my birthday. The 3rd of August was approaching, and I was trying to get there. I booked a beautiful villa in Lake Como for $7,000 for my whole family. My dad was about to come, my mom, my sister, Daniel's, my videographer, his family. So I was really looking forward to do that. I paid the $7,000 apartment, or basically house, or it's like an insanely big house, beautiful. I paid that out of profits that I made with my Ripple investment and my Ripple trade, and I was so much looking forward to go there, right? It was my birthday. I wanted to see my family, but at the same time, I was not feeling good, but I pushed myself. I thought, Miguel, don't be a pussy, take the flight, fly to Zurich, and then shit hit the fan, and I had to go hospital. I had a sepsis. That means that your kind of body is killing yourself in that sense, right? And I was for 2 nights in the hospital, no, 1 night in the hospital, and then I was basically 2 weeks just on the couch staring up the wall. I nearly died at the end of the day, which is not over exaggerated. I got the reports from the hospital. In the hospital, one of the doctors was even fired because they mistreated me, because they didn't treat and didn't see what I have, and it could nearly ended in death. And it was a crazy experience, right? And that's a point where I told myself, Miguel, you nearly gave your life for the people that you love, for visiting your family, being there with them, everything that you do. And obviously, I would have loved to be there, but I pushed myself too much. So nowadays, I definitely, out of experience, know when I'm sick, when I'm not doing well, when my body really tells me to rest and chill, I should not take the emotional move of satisfying myself or satisfying especially other people and showing up, but under the cost, or even with paying with my life, right? That's like very crazy, a very big experience for me. And that was an emotional move that nearly ended in death. And I really learned when to push my boundaries, when to stop, when to put rest phases in, and when to chill down a little bit, when to push hard again. And that helped me to navigate and not make emotional moves that nearly costed my life. Most people either take emotional decisions because they take the decision way too fast, or they overthink way too long and they don't take any decision, which then leads to fatality or leads to a bad outcome. Now, if you are in between of taking a very emotional decision to react fast because you need to react fast, or most of the times you completely overthink and it takes too long, I can give you my knowledge, my experience, and my opinion on that. So I know, for example, that if I'm facing a difficult situation where I either react very fast emotionally or I react very slow and it takes too long and I'm overthinking, I'd rather push myself to take a decision a little bit faster and stick with it, right? So most successful people, and you have heard this probably, is that successful people take fast decisions and stick with them, even if they go into the wrong direction, right? What do I mean by that? People that are broke, people that are not successful in life, they kind of decide very emotional, they decide very fast, or they don't decide at all and they just let everything slip, right? Because poor, POOR, means passing over opportunities repeatedly. That's what most people do. So I, for example, take decisions very fast, but I take them with a strategy. Means I don't take them emotional. I ask myself the question, what am I facing here right now? What is the problem or what is the outcome? I like to think in risk-reward ratio. Risk-reward ratio, RR, comes from trading and investing. Is the question that we as traders, investors ask ourselves before we enter a position is that how much am I risking and how much could I reward? How much is the reward? How high is the reward? So, for example, if I risk 20% but I can make 100%, then it's a good risk-reward ratio. It's the same with life or taking decisions, and not to overthink but also not take too fast emotional decisions is question number one. What is the problem? What is actually the situation? Where does it come from? What is the cause, right? What is the problem? What is the cause? And then asking myself the question, if I take this decision, what is the risk of reward? What is the risk of reward of taking a decision right now for or against it? What is the risk and reward of not taking a decision? And let it cook for, let's say, 2 or 3 days, and then let's see how it goes, right? Most of the times, problems in business where most people overreact and take either too strong emotional or overthink too much decisions in general is they go away by basically not doing anything for the first couple of hours or 1 to 3 days, right? I've seen so many problems in my life appear. Every day I'm faced with problems. That's why I always say, don't give me problems, give me presents. As a joke, as an insider in our community, we always say, don't give me problems, give me presents. But the thing is that problems make you more successful. Problems are important. And I've seen that if you struggle and take too many emotional decisions or you overthink too much, ask yourself the question, what is the problem? Identify the problem. Second, right, ask yourself the question, what should I do? What are the different ways? What are the outcomes, risk and reward? If I take strategy A, for example, going aggressively against it, what is the outcome? What is the risk and reward? If I go more passive, means I don't do anything and I'll just let it go for the next 2 or 3 days and see what happens. What is the risk and reward? And I've seen over the last 7 years building businesses and fixing problems every day, working with people all the time, with leaders all over the world. They come to me with problems all the time because the more problems you solve, the more money you make, right? I understood that most of the times letting a problem just cook for 1 hour, 2 hours, a couple of hours, up to 3 days, most of the times resolve itself, because especially in the beginning, when a problem appears, you don't want to solve the problem in the emotional state. Look, every problem, even if you have a problem yourself, in the first couple of minutes or hours, you are in an emotional state. And when you are in an emotional state, it kind of doesn't matter what you say, it will not help, right? If someone approaches you, let's say you are a leader of a community as I am, someone of your leaders approaches you with a big problem, right? Let's say someone took away a team from them, like a competitor took a big team, a big leader, right? Now they are very emotional. So me putting more heat into the fire already, more wood into the fire, doesn't really help. So I would rather say, okay, let's make a plan. What happened, right? Really, let's understand the situation. Why did this person leave? Why did the competitor take them? How did they do it, right? Is there like a miscommunication, right? Did they lie to them? Is there false information? Did we do something wrong? So first you analyze. And then second of all, what you do is you come out with different strategies. Strategy A is, let's call and talk to her, okay? Would that be good or not good? Who is the better person to talk to her? Is it you, the leader, or is it me as the grand leader? Should we maybe not talk to her, but go to the competitor and talk to the leader that actually pulled this person? Is that better? Is our communication good with our partner, or is it better with their leader? So you go into different strategies, and then you always ask yourself the question, what is the risk and reward? What is the risk if I talk to her? What could be the reward? The risk could be that she doesn't want to listen to me. I just make the situation way worse than better. The reward could be if she likes me and I know that, and she listens to me, she values my opinion, or maybe she values the opinion of someone else, maybe I can get this person to talk to her, right? That would be the risk and reward. So how much am I risking and how much reward am I getting, just as a real life example on how I go about these problems. But I've learned most of the times, rule number one, take 50% of one side, take 50% of the other side. That's the true story, because everyone explains their story and their narrative, right? And it's important for you to listen to both sides always and then take a decision. Number two is most problems are solved by putting the people together on a Zoom call, on a phone call. Be a little bit diplomatic and ask them the questions, what the problem is, how can we solve it. Putting people together is very good, especially in a Zoom, especially personal, not over WhatsApp groups or chats, because messaging most of the times goes completely wrong. So if you ever have a very important emotional decision or you're faced with a problem, never do it over chat. Communicate directly, because over chat there can be so many misunderstandings. That's just an example of how I don't take emotional decisions, but I also don't overthink and take too long by having a strategy that always works. Number one, what is the problem? Identifying the problem. Number two, coming up with risk-reward strategies, getting the people together that are involved in the problem, masterminding, rationalizing, maybe sometimes even giving it a couple of hours or days before we take a decision to see how it unfolds. Most of the times, again, I've seen the problems solve themselves, especially in the first couple of hours, minutes, or days. You don't want to put more wood into an emotional fire, right? Because then you just spark it up more. It makes no sense. Most people are not open to receive or talk about a solution or resolution if they're still emotional. So you want to let them cool off a little bit. Okay? So with that being said, we see us in the next video.